Welcome to Phikelela Podcast engqindilili. Yet siza nenye episode emnandi. Di excited ke ngalena kakhulu. Siphethe ilegend apha, not just for apha eMzantsi, but apha elizweni. Yazi kumnandi xa sithetha nomuntu esaphila, singaleqe ngcobeni yakhe sibe sifuna uthetha izinto. Ngoku ulapha ohleli nathi siphethe Mr Zwai Bala. Groot, right?
Sharp me, bro. But no tens of water like now. No, the sharp for it, man.
Yes.
Good to be here. That's what Teta Namgalendo Ngai Nanga so you call or the next thing out. Yeah, no, I'm happy to be here and I'm happy Baspas you Shanganisa, you know.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. Yes, I think I've been saying this because episodes is about kumnandi ukuncokola nabantu oba respectayo and nabantu bak-inspire. It's been ixesha ndakwazi from the 90s, you know? And the funny thing, I think in the 90s, ndiyakwazi, but akho nto ithi kum ungowalapha Eastern Cape.
Really?
Anyone isimbona e-TV waseJoburg, you know?
Really?
Yes, and then it's only later as ixesha lihamba then uzova ke ngokuba itinarha nto. In fact, ndiyayanza xela uba ndiyazi njani uba ungasetinarha, you know? So for umuntu obukeleyo ngoku andimazi uvelaphi ke mhlawumbi akakwazi, it could be 2000, it could be umuntu otheni. Ndiyacela manje ke introduce nje kakuhle. Yeah.
Hey, 2000. Sometimes bazicula ezingqondo uyazilavi le ngoma. Yo, I guess yeah, xa ndithetha ngam yeah, I mean the light yekhulele apha, you know.
Okay.
First 10 years I guess solid disetinarha.
Emayuyu.
Yeah, emayu kwanobuhle.
Yes.
I was born in 1975.
Yeah.
15 February. But okay, day after Valentine's, I didn't know it's got nothing to do with Valentine's. It's got nothing to do with Valentine's. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, man. So why I mentioned the year because first 10 years, I guess, done you know, life was normal and until Gushaya, you know, the uprisings of the 80s, you know, Ngoga isikolo zaziphethwe ngabafundi.
Yeah.
1984, I think. Kwaqala nje hectic UDF days, you know.
Okay.
Then kwangena netayere ke necklace. In fact, yaqala itinarha itayere. You know, so it was quite hectic. You know, activism yonke lando. So yeah, that's when kwa 1985, I think yeah, kwaqala and then kwathiwa akuzoyiwa esikolweni but sasibona balento ngathi ya ekungafundeni, yabo. And then we didn't go to school from about June. The rest of the year kungafundwa nje sihleli nje elokishini.
Okay.
And then 1986 dabuya wakhona ndiyokwenza kwalo standard 3 lo. And then bachisa isikolo pha March, not like long after kuvulwa isikolo. So there was a time Uputloando, you had him on one of your earlier episodes. Yena ke wayekwiinto zabazalwane nabilungu nentoni, you know, apha eBhayi. So at hamani khona camp ye Youth for Christ whatever izaba se wilderness in now that I know it. Ngokuse George, but now I know it's a wilderness. And yeah, they go on these camps ngala long weekend Easters. So I don't know ufuna ndize kula camp. So yeah, from about Thursday till Monday, Easter Monday, where away sikembishile nabelungu, like this thing abelungu, like it was like so completely new to me, but excited abathanda belungu, ndayithanda la nto ikhumshayo. Yeah, so yeah, I went there and just I think I was really introduced to you know, to this whole new world for me.
Okay.
Maybe before that ndansiya kwi rallies babebanazo, you know, like kwalapha elokishini. There was bands, there was music, there was just this culture that nabengayazi, you know, ndikhulele ecaweni, you know, so it's very conservative and traditional, you know, so I like this modern thing, you know, and the Global Youth for Christ, I met very interesting people who uPhutwela Matomela, who I was very interested in, but no, I best friend katata becula kunye besakhula. And he was doing the music better than piano now. So, and to cut the long story short, I started spending a lot of time by Ngalo 86 law. And we started singing, Nale band, and yeah, sure. I mean, you know, and then, you know, and I started spending more time Apa, and then I ended up going to even a colored school in 87, Apa, a Parkside Primary, because we're the first ones, kwezo skolo sisipinki ke nabanye you know bafunda kwa Kelvindale ukhona ne school bus suka lokishini sidlule kuzo zonke izikolo semakhalatini you know yes. Spent a year there and then otherwise it's because of my voice really saying loud so unfortunately thousand years into sazikhanganya so ndiyayivela nje ba uyishare into ba ubukhe i-first tennis akwapha bendibone ngukho I think bekungomarch national nansika from ku-president obanibani bebesithi narha ibidibene naloo leyo ingento ze-human rights ntontoni uba kukhona zenzekayo etinarha could it be ngelaa xesha lange-85 probably yes 21 March 1985
yes so into bidibene
I think so they were probably commemorating mind you it was 1985, so it would have marked
like
40 years. Yeah.
So like 10 years ubekileyo it's very important.
Yeah, it's in there.
Yeah, but kwenzeka into enkulu isikhaneke sokhulu pha for ba each year and yonke leminyaka.
Yeah. Well, I mean abantu abaninzi basoleka that particular day, so the focus is there. But I mean, it's one of the things there's bonsai ba kwaku feel.
So apha kwesakho saziwena ukhona apha une-siblings zingaphi ithini into itime iolidi kwenzeka ntoni uzalwa kwakho ngo-75
well you know abantu kudala sithi manibhala incwadi but there's such crucial information endingenayo before kuzaliwe mna that I need to collect qala before ndibhale incwadi you know
right.
But utata wam nomalume wam ubrother kamama umama wesithathu kokwabo by 8 so ngaba it's 6 boys and 2 girls.
Okay.
Mama ke ngumafungasho wakhona but ngowesithathu ke apha kwi order yeah. So brother wakhe uzaphambi kwakhe was my dad's best friend. You know same year so babethanda ucula you know uculiswa ke so music is very big in both families actually. So bahlangana lo hlobo and nomama uyacula naye umtata uyacula you know. So they started singing together, nohlangana kwabo. So by the time tina sizalwa, you know, I've got an older sister, myself, and then abani now babini. Uloyiso ngoka 79, and then Upelo came a lot later. 12 years after Uloyiso.
Oh, okay.
So cula kapingi namde acula sibancinci cula kakhulu. So abantu bethanda ukuthi abazawuthini ungacula abantwana
bapakanyele from Macala.
Yeah, because from Macala, you know.
Yes.
So so we grew up in that home and Klotata, there's 6 of them, 3 boys, 3 girls. The parents were a bit older than Abba, you know, Bakamam. And it's very musical family. We lived with our father and mom. Who were quite close in age then, and then Loiso came a little later. And not long after that, you know, they split.
Okay.
From that split, Klandi Jonglabo Puma and then Sambe Postili because this is very important because it defines a lot about who I am, you know. Yeah, so otherwise, really a very big family because we're very close. The parents, they too are very close, even go cousin Babo. You know, so we grew up just with everyone. Who was after a divorce, you know, sayohlala kulo mama. So we were there, phakathi kwa yonke.
No. Yeah. I think loo nto yinto yenzeke kwabantu abaninzi.
Yeah.
You know, but kuwe, what's your earliest memory into yoba ngabana what does it mean for by time ayikho apha? Because ayenze ngendlela efanayo kubantu. Yabo, but for wena ibe njani into yoba hey time ayikho lapha okanye umane uyibona i-time isiza.
No. By the time besohlukana, I mean I was 9, 10 years. Okay. So a lot of the early years, at least besazi ngawo babini. Yeah, and I think nabantu je who were close to her, it was that setup, you know. So we didn't know a lot. I used to think no, but because but I'm like, how can you? I thought they wait later, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we knew that life of a mother and a father, and be able to distinguish no family because you know of how it is. Yeah, so by the time we split, we're still close no tata as well, and still see embassies so yeah, the split I suppose was a split, but because if family inkulu kuna just apparently yeah.
So we all know bangabana kudala waba khona emculweni.
Then why just introduce everyone?
But nenzela
we all know. Sure, Babos.
So Mamela, endifuna uyazi into bangabana kudala wena what decide okanye iqaleni into yoba umculo uyawuthanda uyawazi but it's going to be career yakho ndibawela usibambe nje apha into yoba ngabana uyayazi dala ukwazi ucula but in terms of deciding into yoba ngabana this is going to be into endizaphila ngayo ikhona apho mhlawumbe ukukhumbula.
Definitely. I know as far as I can remember, I know when I was around 10 years old.
Okay.
On City no Michael Jackson, no ban. I think Weekend Special was out for a good 2 years then. But I mean, we used to follow a lot of R&B, So those are the guys I wanted to be like. But because then like, like, you're a music maestro, so I knew it was clear that's what I wanted, even though it doesn't have that kind of success. But I still saw that,
Hey, it's important, Masumdu. That conviction was young,
yeah. No. I think I think like what stops it from happening or doubt comes from outside of you. When you dream. I mean, you're imaginative as it's imagination and it's real. How you feel, how you what I'm saying? In a Sela city, but Sela into some way, and like you believe it. So I believe it's like that. What you see is what you see. And Abelung, I mean, I've spent a lot of time in Abelung,
Yeah.
And I see how they bring up their own kids. They ride with what they are passionate about. Babangandi, your problem, So I've always known and
man, you need something to fall back on.
As yeah. But I guess maybe it was easier for me, not that Nandandi mameli noise, even from a young age. But Landi bring up back in hindsight, I used to help out the choir, as in that, like adult choirs. There was a big culture as in Gogo, culture, ballroom dancing, break dancing, like a culture, and there was choirs. Sports was big. Now there aren't even fields now, I can explain that later on, but that was a culture. And ingoma ezibhalwe ngabaqambi balapha, abesixhosa, Mike Ngxokolo, nobani, but there's also these English songs like hallelujah chorus, hallelujah, so those songs could be a bit complicated. So ndandicelwa mna ndizongcedisa ezikwayara zindala, get notes. Mzwandile Matthews apparently was telling a friend uba wayezonlanda phana ekhaya eTinarha. Jeez, I must have been like 8 or something.
Hayibo, when uyazi njani ke
yeah, like I didn't know about into special because in notes dandizazi like the Kumla ndifunda standard 2 eNhlemeza 1984. And like ingoma ndandifunda no before that, in fact, a little flower 1982 like ndandifunda notes like dizazi notes dingethe nezinye iparts engezizo mna what they would call what they call sight reading today, ngoko ndandicula khaya notes sight reading, like you can read music just to uyicule nje ungazange wayiva okanye wayibona before, yeah, I guess it's music literacy. So I didn't know because I didn't value ukuthi like couldn't make money off music, so it wasn't a skill okanye wayostudy shela, but because dandikhule ndicula kungena ichoir i-practice endlini yabona this, I just took it. So then it's ndazibamba lo hlobo, so maybe that was by the time didn't attend because I knew what my attributes were.
Sendiyiva bangabana nyani like no sendiyiva. So umntu uyakhula but khona nanikhe ndayiva ke when nandive ngawo kanye nandive nje ba okay wawina your first competition, it might not be the first but Shell Road to Fame or something. Okay participate apano. So tell us about that.
So in 1986 in fact I was telling this one this morning uba ubuti Shumbe, forgive me for Mbechu. I just passed on and
on Facebook.
So developing did you put the nguye lo wayesebenza SABC 1986 and then nguye uBudlwanda wathetha nathi no funa siyobona uBhutiyo I think wayihlala enhlekisa sihambela bathala uBudlwanda and yangiqoqodisa become and you know and would see these people abasezindweni mina ndithanda TV man like then ndithanda that, you know, Ricardo those days and child stars, you know. So Bhutiyo was working at the SABC and, you know, getting onto the SABC. I mean, like I made my first TV appearance in April 1986. And
TV, and the
interview, Jeb. Dinner 11 and you know, but I was this kid that was just like, you know, and I had so much confidence in myself, knowing I should be where I think or I see myself being. And that same year, I think it was really busy. Keep band. I mean, had a band, you know, at Living Waters, Umamagatiti, Phikelela Podcast, Enza Mahe. Abozim Ngawana, no Prafeya would play first, you know, on some gigs, no Prapet. And that's when we used to sing. Because you know, so that year actually was in Saksha Road to Fame. I think a costume. And only made it into the auditions. Just practice. Artists of Mnombo, power, whatever, 1, 2 lines. Thank you, next. and go church Abigail Kupeka not knowing about 2 years later, so when the sevens are Abigail Kupeka and the elite. But the following year, 1987, that's when I entered solo. Noloyiso entered solo. He was like 6 years old.
Okay.
And we pushed through to the semifinals. And then I made it through to the finals. And Loyiso didn't make it through to the finals. What got semifinals? The Kumle Pume Pepe in the front page here. Some Sunday paper or something, but the front page, 6 years old, you know. And I went the youngest finalist ever, you know, coming close to Rebecca, who actually won that year. That's the
Rebecca
Malope, yeah. That's the year that launched Rebecca, because once you win that competition, like idols, you win a lot of competition, then the money deals, you know. And so I couldn't. I was thinking, no, I'm winning because the Drakensberg the next year, because I was going to the Drakensberg Boys Choir the next year, and it was all over. I mean, the media were, you know, this boy is going to be the first black boy you get Drakensberg, you know. So that is, and then I went to the Drakensberg the next year, but still within my first term, Payana, Dabi Zwai Johannesburg, there's this big stage production, you know, Standard Bank Arena, which was the first indoor arena in South Africa. And they're looking for a child star. So Payana Glashons Abangu Nyanaka, Kamara Low, you know, acting and Henry Kele, who was big at that time following Shaka Zulu, you know. And I was terrified of this guy. I mean, like, Shaka, you Shaka. So no years I'm like, you are diaspora festival. But funny enough, we became so close, you know. So I left halfway through as a holidays Okala, the Easters, to go to Johannesburg. And we rehearsed for 2 to 3 weeks, and then I was on stage every night for 6 weeks after that, performing to crowds, standing ovations. Dinner 13, that was my first production. And it No, it's not normal. It's not normal. No, it's not normal.
Yazi Jongane, ingawe lento sanifuna uyibhudisa ngami.
Yes.
Mna when I was 13 ndiyabanjwa.
Yabona pha. Now unelekazi ufuna yours no. Asanantoni na manje na 13.
Uyageza. Yo, so like lento ibalisayo ilento yenzeka ko Michael Jackson.
Yes.
Like lento yenzeka ko Michael Jackson.
Yes.
You know, from ukuthi, I mean, sekukliye ngokwen uyazazi ba uphi.
Yes.
Hey.
And I just thought it was the best. Like I thought until you hear me sing like I'll have you next, you know. I thought I was better than most of the guys. Forget man ndifuna ufana nobani.
So important lando nyani ba umntu ave just on this positive and nanansike.
Yeah, I can come to that. I think it's all about that. It's all about knowing yourself. Knowing yourself, you know yourself. But the thing is, a lot of the times, if you know check about kutiwani lento, you're right or you're wrong, and it's like and le gauge le image is outside of you. Are you gauge? But lando is fine. You know what I'm saying?
Yo.
So yeah, maybe the broken family background as well as ukbakude nekhaya. From such a young, I had to rely on myself throughout my life. Yeah, but maybe that's where it comes from as well. And Zanga, I've never conformed to easily we program say you know how radical I can get, you know what I'm saying? It's like no, because wongumdu doesn't mean or in the right or whatever, or young toddler, it doesn't go for everyone. So yeah, man, I mean, when I was performing, coming back to the story at Johannesburg, I mean, it was standing ovations every night. I mean, there was reviews. It was like a big show, you know. And Utata was so like during that run. Yeah, well, this is 1988. And I was on stage every night. The only day off was a Sunday. So I had to finish my show on the Saturday and fly down to PE early on Sunday morning for Ngxiki. And so that's when really I kind of took care of the family, you know. Because even Utata, I mean, you know, the more kupaya bagu, you know, and so on.
Oh man, Ndona 13.
Yeah, and look, it was what it was. I mean, kwakungekho normal ngokuba na 13 ube ususpan, you know. So yeah, and I guess it was. Yeah, my life has always just been about breaking through and proving myself, and even SKLA, especially in high school.
So how was in the Daiva ke ngoku umculo nandoni phayana Drakensberg ibinjani icala le maths ne history nandoni okanye kuwo umculo kakhulu?
No, sikhona isikolo.
Yeah, so how were you when
so yeah, that's another thing. No, I never did well at all in academics. Yeah, in academics kwakuthiwa, you know, when you're not doing well with schoolwork, like you dome, I knew very well and got dome. Tafula. I know but I'm creative in so many ways, and what I can do, not many people can do. So it can't be that you know, the dome and culture. But obviously, you can't land over. I know you must do because it's important. But I just had a funny relationship
to another grade. To another
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean like
award.
Yeah, and that's because I'm chonganga payana. But good music, full marks all the time. You know, and whenever I did try to get the phone, I mean, I'd get 70s and so on. Yeah, I knew exactly why Bengas marks, you know.
Yes, no. Mamele so uzanende important apha into ba ubu-talented, like upakanyele from kuqala kamama tata, and that waphinde wafaka effort for ukwenza iphinde yancedisa ke ngoku into yoba mabese esikoleni ekutitsha umculo kuyo.
That was my life. Defeated Drakensberg through the same thing. Ngokucula. You know, yes, ufika kwama Parkside kwakungaziwa, but halfway through I'm like, hey, abantu abayazi man banda, because mna ngiqhela uba nguye lo uzwayo luculayo. Nasebakhwetheni namkhwetha uculayo nali like you know, so and the school didn't know, so the clearly music teacher after one of the music lessons must go out the whole class for music, and then to go you know, class there. Mrs. Thomas man, you know, you know. I think that is because I don't know put London before. The day man put up by Yasman Bandiakula. Yeah, no, theater or whatever. The one Mrs. Thomas that. No, in fact, like what? Okay, let's hear you. And was it one Masang Tulsa Lengua Mabesigula up a class in? I think it was Our Father who art in heaven, but the soprano up there, and I bet her nangala she was like, oh, wabiza deputy headmaster.
Ebevuma nje yena. Ngokuyothuka
I was like, what? Like, yeah?
Yeah, uyacula nya.
I know, but like wabiza deputy headmaster, Mr. Miller wayengekho that day. Was the next thing wabiza, the next thing sonke staff sasifakla room. It's amazing how things just flipped from that day. And then there's these Statford competitions as you know, for schools. Kodwa zazingekho ke in the 80s, but zazikhona kwezikolo zamakhaladi and nabelungu. And then they put me into that. Man, bendislibele as stories the other day. And daqokelela trophy, like I was getting over 90% in all these different things that dikhumbula ndiphume phephe ndiphethe trophy. And that's zingaka, you know, and it was such a great thing. And now I don't think before ndifike phaa esosikolo actually was so well represented with music.
Okay.
And a funny thing would happen years, in fact, after eDrakensberg, xa ndibuyela kwesinye isikolo, xa ndibuyela esikolweni, eDrakensberg only ends at 7 or grade 9 now. You know what my involved or me being at that school actually meant for music in that school.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so yeah, Mr. Miller, what you call an article, you know, this school at Drakensberg Boys Choir, they're running auditions, and you know, it's a great school. And Drakensberg, you know, so they're running these auditions, and for the first round, if you record, tape, you know, cassette, and then we two male obviously. They sent that, and got through to, you know, semi-finals, and then they sent out examiners from Eskela, Pine Drakensberg to come out. Now, the tattoo in Yichomiam, Andre, Likada, I felt like close Payana, Parkside, Mama Aze, Stella Guyi lift, but 10 rand the petrol. Like 10 rand the petrol is a Susa Kelvin Dale, is say a warmer, is we sell it in And yeah, so Andre takes us, and I think, and Cox so warm now, because do a warmer those days. Yeah, suburb, man. You know, Tina warmer, but God warmer, and I guess you're like a centennial you know, at the time. And now I don't think Babeya's Bangutagilo will enter it, because Kamala, maybe I'll jump easy right away, and I'll change it to ZWAI the year before, 87, yabon, and but seslapha, and when I think in hindsight, but my voice has always spoken for me. Gonna John walked in, mandivule net lom.
The chance, the chance.
I know it happened, and I mean, like and that obviously saw me through to the finals, which was in Johannesburg, 1987. Ndiyocula ke Standard Bank Arena. Ilonto ke yangenisa, and ke lento ke xa winile whatever the competition kho ibhesa rihambelana nayo, yabo. So and ba complain about the parents at Drakensberg, hi onskania ka friend esikoleni what diva lento ngokuba kwaba kwi meetings parents
but
yeah ba kwi meetings parents, you know, about that can happen, yabo. Apparently, and Upani Ashley Porter, may his soul rest in peace, was music director then. He said, well, this was the criteria, as long as he stated about no blacks.
Oh, wow.
And he stood up for me, and he believed in what Bani Ashley Porter, who ended up being my teacher.
Okay.
He was a music director at Drakensberg. And he said, according to the criteria, we are passing. So ndabe ndiyangena ke ngolo hlobo eDrakensberg.
No yonke lento ithetha.
Yeah, and through a singing competition. Yabo, and abanye parents apparently abanye bakhupha abantwana babo phaya. But now to answer your question more directly, after Drakensberg, I went to St. Stephen's College to do my standard 8, 9, and 10.
Lenga Bryanston.
Yeah, Sentin, yeah. And but Abonga for Nocanda works at St. John's, because a lot of my mates, especially the ones that were into music like me, but say either St. John's or Pro Arte in Pretoria, you know, like these special schools, there's no music departments. That's St. John's, but they said they they don't give scholarships. Uyabo. So, and then umama wechomi yam wathi no makazame Sense-Stithians. Now Sense-Stithians ebezo introduce music as a matric subject for the first time ngalanyaka mnabenza ungena ngawo phayana. And they thought it's maybe a good idea but ndingene, and then at least to promote the subject. Uyabona, but they have a boy from Drakensberg. Uyabo. Yeah. So that's how I went to one of the most expensive private schools.
Even go?
Yeah, I mean.
Yekela xotsela ngalo wena.
Cyril Ramaphosa zemva kwethu phaya, you know. Goku. And yeah, and then I get there. I think I did a little too much. Then more than lento ebeyibawela. You know, I mean, then Kali jazz bands, a cappella groups, the Kulisi choir, and Lali organ, chapel. You know what I'm saying? Doing all these things, and I get my first recording deal that first year. You know, Sense-Stithians.
So
this is the second year, 93. So and late deal is through a record company who's now been made MD of an international record company, BMG at the time, now it's Sony. Ujemen just divey story ngawe phayana because inqosi yakhe is dating a boy ophayana esikoleni and yazi lo ntwana there's this guy phayana yes when's izinto, you know. That's when I discovered Kabelo Tugulo and putting them into these things, you know. Kabelo, that's when he realized but he has a talent, you know, and I said whether there's something there. So, and even the inter-house competition, one was the inter-house competitions.
Yes.
Now the music one, quite to listen, hey man, where's inter-house competition? Kucho house master go. First night, the Monday has vela goes school, you know. That no show you guys won't go to see. That's my passion. My passion is teaching. My passion is teaching. So, not only, I mean, and this is a rugby school, an academic school. And I made rugby players not only sing in tune, but in harmony.
Wow.
That on my matric year, ukuzobukela Mount Stevens Kula was like a night out. That's how much the entertainment was. Kati dishela ukabelo pressure because he was going to take over after me after that. That mchana, because I've only 1 year before Lamni now, I'm as then and while I was at the Drakensberg Standard 9, which is now 93, Sense-Stithians, and I was, you know, I do piano, I study piano and voice as an instrument. You know. So the voice was my first instrument. And we're doing examinations through the Associated Board of the Royal Schools of Music in London.
Okay.
Yeah, in London. So now, but they send out examiners. So grade 8 singing is for school level.
Okay.
And then, you know, fine, lay on the hands. And then instead at 9, there's no grade 8 voice, which is now going to open to anybody. Yeah, well, grade 8, in case you don't know, is like the last, like metric we're singing, we're practical instruments.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Doctor, we've got grade 8, yeah, well. And then after that, when I teacher's license yet, yeah, well, but otherwise it's the top achievement. So I did grade 8 voice, can start at 9. And this is now an international thing. They send out examiners throughout the world, you know. So, and the lady came down here, one audition, and they gave me 146 out of 150 marks.
Yeah.
Which apparently was the highest in the world, and I could choose to go to any Royal College of Music in the UK. There's a Royal Academy of Music. I mean, like, sasfunda ngazo is, you know. So I could choose to go to any one of those. And sorry, I just remembered something. Because the 146, like recently, but no, man. That for 146 out of 150, grade 4, this is at Drakensberg. And my name was put into the UNISA Book of Honors. You know, so this gets me to go and study overseas. And that same year, 93, that's when I get this deal for a record label. Yeah, well, that was gonna be from 1995.
Okay, mfuna nje apha sibe sezingqondweni. Ngumfana waseTinarha lositanga mos. Uyofunda orkant. Ushiya abafana baseGauteng.
Yeah.
Aba lento ithethayo ithi kumu italente nepassion uyadlula into yoba uzalwe ngubani or abazali bakho banemali engakanani.
Well, it depends. It sounds, it sounds to me that if you compare your parents to other parents and what is, less than other people, just that otherwise, it's the comparison. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, Nelson Mandela is not from Soweto. You know what I'm saying? Jesus in Christian terms is from Bethlehem, which is like a little. You find it dispatch. Yes, was it dispatch? Yes, was it dispatch? Imagine. Yes, was it Stalin Samaj dispatch?
Mna detached ilento bangabana umuntu passionate ngento and umuntu talented ne yodwa bozalwa naye most talent and that but xa ufaka passion and uphinde uyikhaphe it takes you good. That's where I'm at. Inspired up.
If you don't mind, I'd like to come in on that. The way I see the world now is just, it's so in contrast with many things in terms of how we see the world.
Okay.
I remember being there. I'm of the view, and for what I believe, I'm of the view that everybody has a talent.
All right. Yes.
It's just that le umculo abanye bazothi hey kaloku umuntu important kaloku wena kaloku nguzwai Bala. It's like, no, but it's just that what I do in Coupe TV now, because you say TV, now you're more important than other people. Could have a heart surgeon here, but because I Pumi TV, he's no less important than me. And that takes a bit of talent as well, and I believe that everybody is unique. Izawukusenza ndaweni, but indawo ngokufuneka ibe indawo ebonakalayo for it to be considered big or successful. Yabona like laa nto yoba, you deserve your flowers. What is that? That's like, akufuneka ukubonwe, hey hayi appreciate abantu. Like kufuneka kubekho into onikwa yona, like kubekho yabona. And it's such a pity ukuthi, for me how I see it ukuthi, that's how it's seen. So I believe that everybody is talented, that we are unique, It's just you understanding that and working with it. So it's not given to you,
Yes.
Yeah.
No, the excited bangabana noba uyifake loo nto. Endiyifunayo enkulu kum ebalulekileyo into yoba bakhona abantu ba-talented but bangenzi into ngaloo nto.
Everybody is
Okay,
talented.
but kunto ethile, yes.
Yes.
Yes, no, okay, ndiyayiva ke.
Yeah, so it's not abantu abathile. It's like it's.
Okay, I think ebalulekileyo uba makayi-identify yena.
Yes, so it does happen ukuthi abantu
angayazi uba yes, okay.
And it's identify yourself, because talent is part of you. It's not into. That's why it's like, you nani blessed. I don't even want blessed anymore, because ngathi mna dike kwaba khona ixesha apha life ndingakwazi ucula or ndingakwazi uzenza and then yaza kwakuba umuntu onikayo lento okufuneka ndithe nkosi. It's not what I have, it's who I am.
Oh wow. Yeah.
It's who I am, and I'm not better than anybody else.
Yeah. I know. I think inkulu loo nto leyo, yazi.
Yeah.
Inkulu loo nto bangabana wonke umuntu talente yakhe yena makayi-recognize loo nto.
Recognize themselves. Yeah. Because sometimes you may not even know about impact kanjani omnye umuntu. There are stories I hear ngo umuntu aze kumxela fonini wawusenza le into ndikubukele. I don't know about ndibukele, but you are being watched all the time. You know what I'm saying? So the best you can do, not uzamubonakala, because you just live right. You know what I'm saying? And so you can be inspiring. Like say a person you get married to, there are things that you were attracted to them for. Abanye abantu bengekho attracted because okanye bebengaziboni okanye naye laa mntu beziphilela nje wena nje wazivela wazithandela yena khange akuthandise. You know what I'm saying? So they were just being themselves. So just be, and
uya orkanti ngoku.
Yes. Yeah, so before ndiye orkanti.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Ininzi le nto.
Akazanto.
Yeah, so before ndiye orkanti, I get this deal in Standard 9, and and I get really close with the MD, spend time at his house. I was on London, I sit in the scale, you know what I'm saying, in the Qatar, and hearing records, and he's a white guy, obviously, and with my Melissa, Elvis Presley.
Oh, okay.
So I have a lot of reference in my life. Music is just, it's all over the place. I mean, it's all over the place. So I started following. But he actually started off as a gospel singer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so a lot of people you know, they sang up. So I'm special about they used to sing in church, your Whitney Houstons and so on. So you can see, so I thought maybe you must actually just do a gospel album. So it's just you actually just do yourself, So I do this album, cut a long story short. I released in 93, ne? Years of 93. But kulindo general elections got 94 because so everything, like especially they like Puma the chef, hey, get the step in, get the hell out. We are also go back Holland, so Emile. Now I'm in matric in 1994, and the song of Nagilinde album yamba iphume after those elections. Mandela Hashem, no shame, nice, and we asked Biza Basi formerly government of national unity. Oh man, our Madiba, our man, terrorist, same people. So anyway, my record comes out, and I start spending a lot of time in Johannesburg, go to promote this album. Do a lot of TV shows, and that those days, and SABC One, those days, and 1995 Kuze is South African Music Awards, the first year yazo, and send overseas go, send funda go. I went to Glasgow, which is lost in Scotland. So Klandibuya and Zogoluga, June 95. Straight from Glasgow to London, to Brussels, to Jan Smuts then, or Tambo now, to DF Milan or JB Herzog or something later, Lapa airport. Lando malume bangitheba ngensehlathini. And
it's
very dynamic.
From Scotland to Ebakweti.
We just skip gokuza koluka uphelo now siphuma showing ye Bala Brothers school sentini ke silimene mythical khona ne orchestra ne no yabona yonke la so uzawungena ngengomso ne so siyabawisha ke pha ulapha and phakathi ndawo so thank you and then siphuma ngapha so ngisemva kwakhe ne so ndithi from Sentin to Hlatin. Similar story.
Yeah.
So similar story. So anyway, I'm around for those holidays, and then the album was nominated for the South African Music Awards. No. Now I'm sticking around. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
For the summer holidays, summer holidays for the Northern Hemisphere. So I was going to be here for a few months, and but it's been nominated. And those days, this summers, it wasn't 5 entrants per category; it was 3. I was up against Rebecca Malope, Moya Wam, and Chico and Brenda Fassie. They had a song called "Soon and Very Soon," and then Uzwai was sitting now.
Oh man,
Uzwai was sitting now, and now actually I was judging. One of the categories was Summer 31. So I'm like, Summer 31. I'm like, that no nye talk with Summer 1. Summer 1. And it's amazing just how time really just flies. And I've just been living, I've just been living.
In China relationship yakho no Rebecca, kunini qhuba man.
Talent better. And talent better one better kushell kalongo. Ngokuzona better ku Summer ditela. Did you learn? It's a better one day. But we've never had to be close, but I guess we respect each other as Abandu, who've been around. She was 19.
Yes.
Yeah, we know that. So why not 19? Rebecca. Go can go mom Rebecca, Dr. Rebecca, but try to get German card. And then get to Conistala Samazindanga yake, so I already cancel shit. No, South Africa also Stala. So so man. So it's been that dynamics,
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm inspired because the principles the same as you
The
keep on sharing.
same.
As you keep on sharing in
The principles are the same,
yes,
Chef, you know.
yes.
And I'm you know, Ubuntu, it's togetherness, it's oneness, ukuhlangana. You know, we all part of the universe, and a tree cannot exist alone without ilanga nemvula. You know, so the more we separate each other in our differences, there's so much more in common than the differences. So the principles are the same. Ubuntu in any situation. So it's principles, and the principles apply in anything. You know what I'm saying? So tonight, the more we separate us, the more we're not doing each other service. So I don't even get inspired by necessarily musicians. You know, I read anybody's books because I think that mind is that mind. I think all the successful guys, I'll mention the normal ones, about Richard Branson. They didn't study Lendo. They don't have MBAs and all that stuff, you know. And studies come after into say exist. It's not the thing. But once you study Shalom, then abuye nalando la certification ayifumele pha. Well, ufunde kakuhle lento sithe kuwe yifunde. Ngoku ke uzawubizwa lento, uyabona? Yifunde into seyikhona. Now uzahamba umuntu ayofunda music and then abuye ngoku nguye music. No, uyofunda thina into siyenza naturally. Uyabona xa wena wayazi ba yintoni. So things have been there before, because when you went to study, it doesn't make you better than me. You just have a keener interest, you know.
So kungo 95 yoluka, so una 30 years oluka.
On the Luka yandana 20 years.
No,
yes, I was 20 years old.
And for no yazi ke into bangabana percentville ba use young, you were doing things. Nxano buzi bangabana umgidi wakho wenziwa nguwena kuba buse umana usenza izinto soka na orchid pounds.
You know, I actually don't remember.
Yeah.
But no, wenzelwa ekhaya. No, I don't remember, but I know that na imali kodwa.
Yeah. But buse uqhuba.
No, I remember because ukufumana kwami scholarship. Now the scholarship was $102 scholarship because it became such a big thing. You know, I was in the front page of the Sunday Times. I mean, it was a big
Sunday
thing.
Times.
Yeah, it was 94. Yeah, and I mean, like, this prestigious scholarship, but my heart was so not there. So pressure, young apparently, I was like, because I'd been away from home so much. You know, like I was dying to just do Ngogo because I've learned so much and I just want to create. Maybe if I went to Berkeley. In Boston, you know, like at least yofundi jazz because it's been church music, classical music, you know, like music, you know, but it wasn't all music, you know, indigenous music, you know, a vibe. So I'd learned enough in those and I knew it.
So now I figure
up that halfway through the year because September because it's Northern Hemisphere, the academic year. So I'm figure of February and. By the end of that year, man, top marks was on first class. Yeah, I mean, like, Jordan was a local side rhythm, and there was fumana in music, ne? Whether it's in English, Italian, German, or French. Read it now for the first time. Okay, read this thing. 1, 2, Tiniki, okay. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, and the classmates, Zamke Zona, about you know to eating from part to that, you know.
Yeah.
So I was just I think maybe I just got bored and you know to spread out and when I came back and I started TKZ.
No girlfriend as Scotland.
Jana.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But you can't go to Tatanyana. Was a German. But the funny thing, when Ufika Wampayana, and mostly, yes, this Vubego's apartheid. This Vubego's apartheid. There's no black people in Scotland in the 90s, especially that far up. You'd be lucky if you see maybe 5 black people in 1 month. And you know, so I'm like, Abelung. About 3 months, 4 months in, I only find out about phone indlela or hotting ngayo funwa ngayo ngabantwana because ngudaki. I'm like, because ndingudaki. So anything that is different is always interesting. Yeah, anything that's different. So that for me, from those early stages, I understood, but no, man, it's not that. It's not racism. It's not this. It's just anything that's different. You know, if it's different, in me, a dwarf and then the funda nayo a Drakensberg, Ingamla, Nicholas.
Okay.
Yeah, so Nicholas, when I arrived there, and you know, I mean, obviously there was racism, you know, and Lendwana Itugum, you know, so I excited, okay? You know, when I turned them, so don't worry if they tease you, okay? Like, because, you know, they also tease me. But don't worry if they tease you because you're black, because they also tease because I'm small.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, it's not about color. It's about just anything that's different or alien or incha. You know, like, yes, this is now in Canada, yeah. Yeah, he was one of the best tenors in South Africa, yeah. Yeah, so ndabona so na Western yeah, no, unse Scotland, yabona. I know, but it's just that. So
seven movie bo hot ke ngoku sowuzahamba ngoku. Yeah, phosa ke ngoku bo hot base Scotland.
You know, yeah, man, kubanda kwethu naphana ba ukhuleke. You know.
Yes.
But, yeah.
So you come back and kuvuleke TKZ.
Well, I reconnect namachita, but on my coming back, obviously the album was doing well, and the record company is saying, "Also, we and the dance over here." So I'm like they're trying to be, you know, disciplined. You know, I was like, no, but okay, cool. Album yako sends a grand, so we're gonna do a second album. I'm like, no, man. In fact, the album and call like. I'm not like, yo, Yawana, but I want production. I want Yawana because there's just so much going on, you know. So, Bandi, but okay, cool. I want to develop, I want to produce, you know. And then they had a guy who was an advisor, Steve Dyer. He's a jazz musician. Steve Dyer was this creative advisor for the record company. I just Steve Norman, Masim Tengele, something so he organized in Tengele, he sequence, and then there was a sequence like different instruments, the digital recorder, one, like he set up. So I started creating in the back room, and then Shangane no Tukulo, I think we say business Mashambland. I mean, Sasnanyana from SKL. Lingu Kabelo and Ifunda overseas. No, it's on an exchange program in Florida. But in the meantime, I'm teaching a war school Randberg to teach music. Randberg High School, but it's an African school, so I teach in Afrikaans.
So at Drakensberg.
Because you're living with them.
Yeah,
you know? And it was completely Yeltomal Tuetalag, which is completely bilingual.
Yeah, it must be Engels and Afrikaans.
Yeah. So and that was really cool. And I was really busy. I also did show your Motown songs, your Waterfront. I don't know if you know in the talks now Brightwater Commons, Randberg. It was first called the Waterfront, and they had a big, had a lot going on there. So I was singing at this club every night, Motown songs, you know, Lionel Richie, Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, Michael Jackson, Yongelando, doing this show. And I was also working at Kulunabo, Prachabu, Kanyile, you know, doing backing vocals, Van Chapman, Chuluka, Johnny Clegg, you know, just how much like in there, like, hey, you know, Nabo Ring or Nabo Wings, and doing a lot of jingle work, because I was doing jingle work even before Ndiva and Yokeles. Jingle work is like sessions, like in Dengi, so and
Oh, okay.
You know, like in those, Jam, Ellie, like, you know, those kind of things. Yeah. So I was doing a lot of work, and so I've always had the livelihood. Then solo the mali, if that's what you wanna call it, you know. And I'm also mentioning Lendo Yofunda Guam, Kobakis sponsors is fucking you because I was overseas, he needs support. That's why then we newspapers. And I mean big corporates like your Greenacres, your Marion Roberts, and all those guys, they gave me cash, you know. So that was just my life. And zange ndazulisa idemo, zange ndasokola. Zange ndaguduza akumeziphandle kumezithini ndingangicela nabantu. I don't know, you know, it was just I just lived it, and it's an amazing thing, like all these things that we struggle for, they just come, you know, when you just get to that level, you know. So it was that. And then much it was something towards the end of that year. And then somewhere in beginning of 96, Keith Lister says, Zwai, so what have you been up to? So you have new stuff. Did man, instead of my own stuff, how much you done keleza now and tibene now, okay, stibansile nje, but senza nje yezingoma. So namdlala nje like, you know, just it manyana nje like about 4 tracks nje be senza nje pakum yabo. He listens to this to Keith. What? Let's release this now. Like, since I released ngoma Z4, first time I heard of an EP was then. It's 4 songs. Like, single most was like 1 to 3 songs. Once it's 4 songs, not quite. It's extended play basically. Well, that's
so
where it came.
made alone.
Yeah, because we had this great song called "Take It Easy," and then automatically, the guys jump onto my contract.
Okay.
Because it was my deal. So I was on this deal in PMG solo, and then they asked me about the second album, especially after the summers and everything. So that time, amachita so base bengena ke ukphayana yayilonto, you know. And I mean, just to think, we made history. Like we never thought it was going to be that.
Jonga kaloku ne mid 90s ne ndike isigila 95, so 96 ngihlale Central ndikukho students ke for UPE Tech Ndondoni ndiligintsana elibhityileyo wakhonto ibhadle etheni wethu but life yethu ngeyolonwabo. Usukela ngela xesha unyuka ndiyayiva into yenu. And in my mind, akhondo ithi ungangapha nantoni ngabantu benza into ezintswimbu ukusukela from that time unyuka, you know. So yayinkulu. You really made history kwenye level. You know. Wow. And to share just lendo, you know, eventually end up in the open. So when you are in prison, umculo takes you to indawo like this.
That's right.
So I'd be some prison, a Freestad, okanye eGauteng, ikhala ingoma eyayidlala nge-90s.
Oh, Nanitorish? Oh, Nani Glowy.
Umoshe kaninzi uye wanjiswe.
Oh, so, like you gift, like you present.
It's like, well,
oh, so offer did you go me some good? Okay.
So bengafuna mention like ben mosha even
nangaphakathi ne.
So ukumosha nguloba dibe busy mhlawumbe nepolisakazi.
Okay.
So once
bulapho umosha wakho bulapho
wena. Bengahlabi bantu.
Okay.
Bengathi mna.
I can most lot is explained.
But ke ngoku it dangerous for it wrong ndoba.
Yes.
Ulumntu involved angakwenza escape. So once ba pick up lo mntu move.
Yeah, okay.
Yabona, and then because bafuna umgxotha mos na.
Okay, yeah.
So kuzavela kuthiwe kuwe esisaphanda ayizuqhubekeka upha.
Yeah, okay.
Ukumuvuswa nje kwakho.
All right.
Go to another prison. So uthi ufika kuleyana sebesithi pha bamile pha bangabana uthiwa wena wenza izinto sake siyibona uphi khona sifuna umbona.
Alans.
Hey man lo mntu chin hey.
So ulindele pha jonga ke kukho enye ke yosana.
Ufuna ukugcwalisela but uzophenye ivani novana yho.
Yeah.
So but phayana once ukhale ingoma yenu uyikhumbula ne detail ba ubani ehamba ngemoto ethile ijonga khona umntana at that time in my life.
Yes.
Sise 14.
Yes.
Sise kwibeshi. Sise ntontoni yabo
yenza lo nto. Ikhona yathi I think it was in London actually. I said, yeah man, everyone has a TKZ story or TKZ moment.
Oh wow.
It takes you to that. And again, like I mean, it's realizing that dude, this is not about me. You know what I'm saying? This is what it's meant. It's way bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's Salkuba now, because it's way beyond us, this thing, you know?
Yeah.
And I guess you were like, hey, Roman, you know what you've done, like, you know, like this is what you did. I didn't do that. I was just making music, and every else that's just happened. But also the time, the vibe, Nati. If there's no Zama London, it probably wouldn't be the same. So everything, you know,
listening to you Nangoku, I see izinto zenzekileyo. In fact, so if you were releasing 96 or 97 as a album, ngoza sikhumbula kahle, 97 siyomlahlela ku 85. We are already looking at what 12 years of you doing izinto.
Yes.
Preparing you.
Yes. So
preparing you. It's not about 96.
Exactly.
It's what you've been doing from 85,
exactly.
84.
Yeah. That's why I got Divana Lando like, your music at TKZ. So because Leah if the Dragonsberg. No. It's not because not the Dragonsberg. It's everything. Yes. It's everything. So because une degree etile, now it's like, yo, ubizwa ngala degree, ubizwa ngala, now there's no more. There's no, or like lento yenza, you're like, but not like but like there's so much more. And umntu xa nofunda incwadi yakho, they're not gonna read about like if photograph now an aspiring whatever photographer, I think uzawufunda ngephotography, you're gonna learn about you. Yes. So it's about you, you know, holistically.
And not just like apha namntu othuka. That ezinye izinto thina anzazi.
Yes.
And that's why we're here.
Exactly.
Ndiyavuya futhi ba ndiyothuka nabahlali.
Oh really?
Like I didn't know. So and yes, even a story Dragonsberg all these years bengiqima ndiyasazi.
Okay.
Kungona ndisifayo.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, sure, importance yalento.
Sure.
Because bendisibamba nje.
Sure.
Ukubona xa ubona into scan without reading.
Yes.
Not that bengena xoxela. But it's just that bendiyithi nje.
Yeah,
but ngoku ndayiva detail yayo what you've done.
So you're about how easy it is, like ubone nje into ethile ngomntu and then xa uzawugqiba just based on that little bit. Like what? You want to phone one up with ibhuli because bebukele ibhala. It's like
yafuna siye apho.
But I'm just giving you that as an example. Yes. But you know, Uzwai no lower pala brother, okanye no lower pala family, okanye you tell like it's only based on what they've been exposed to.
Yes. No, nyanda ngiqala uyiva ngolhlobo ibeke ngalo ngoba kuyeke njani pha and nasi story soba kwafuna ukuyokwenza. And uSK aba bese befuna ujika. I wonder baphi ngosi yami. Abakhuphanana babo pha esikoleni bangafuna cafe.
Yes.
I wonder bamiphi.
Yes.
So now iyenzeka into ngiphi album okanye into eniqonda bangabana nayibona ba hey guys siphethe yona, this is it. Ikhona experience oyikhumbulayo udibana kwakho namajita seniqhuba ke as a TKZ.
Yeah, look, I mean it's different conversations. Also the AP lesa qonda no. I would assume mhlawumbe but lesa qonda no, this is commercial success. Yeah, I mean Palafala definitely. Because 97. End of 97. Kumula lokusakhupha lo Take It Easy mid 86 96 sorry, the year before. And you know, get like it's ahead of its time, but you have by musical, but you know, I know because and was Jaiva and was so I can't make music. Not the mathematical, the theoretical. Oh, okay, let music no man kick drum on every beat, and then you wanna like it's all clinical. You wanna like but because it's jive, you must be able to jive now.
Okay.
Yeah, one. Okay. So yenye yezinto yandikhawatha khona icawa ke le andikwazi nojiva andinayo ne-fashion sense basically ndiyibhari. You know, so I took that time. So it wasn't a huge success in the markets, the first album, but we knew that we had what it takes though, you know. Okay. So I spent the rest of the time just started clubbing at the age of 21, which is 1996. So started go with whatever number machita sellers it is you know
pelibuzalwana phakhe ngo
no bekunyanzelekile. And I mean I think it was the first time I felt I was living like I didn't even I didn't even know like ingoma ezikhoyo, no artists, not just ubuzalwane, but also being at boarding school and away. I was just always away from abantu bam. So I never had best friends like amachita, you know, otherwise abashiyekta. That's why ndisene chomi ezifana nozalisile. Eza nandibana nazo xa ndigodukile. You know, ezizami isezichomi zami ke nangoku, you know, ezalapha. So but now I didn't know the rest of the vibe, yeah. So after that, that's when I started being really friendly namaXhosa, even alapha, Bones, nobani no sasihlangana eGauteng. So you know, really getting into it, like I guess the music, yeah, like how I made music, it made sense. If you have mark issue, guys, for many full marks, but yanga test drive vehicle, but like I cheek. So, and it was important, and I was asking the relevant questions. Kuban woglo, kalingoma, kumalo, ano, ngutebe, okay, produce song ban, launch don't lang no ban. Okay, who's this? Yeah, no matter, produce song with Joni now. I wanna like, and I was finding out who's who and what. I wanna and meeting different people and but I think what really cracked it so beautifully for me was hanging out no Kofi Pilani, Malaika and all that. We became very close friends after I sent the album Katukulo Kusheshe and my lawyers and hung out with him. Oh, what talent! Yeah, and I go, was the catch at studio like, and so was it so like, I'm like, tell him so but he was feeling it, but he didn't know the theoretic know-how that I did. So mna didn't know Chapilentos and then and then I'm working it out. No, okay, that beat, so that's gonna do that and that. So we're learning so much, and we actually developed an amazing relationship musically, you know, just feeding off each other. You know what I'm saying? He had the vibe. So I'm like, there are sometimes we're like, okay, yeah, I sounding like yeah. Yeah, so we'd help each other break out of that. But you know, and then from that, then Phalaphala came. Like it was a direct result of that exercise, you know. And Phalaphala came, but even those first 8 bars, beats, I remember it was just that intro for months and months and months. Say, I was thinking in song because Tina Crankle is a hip hop act. We're a hip hop act, TKZ. Yeah, bo. So, Klopfing and a beat pondi sagu hip hop, or just, you know, that groove. Joe. After months, what to go? I poison. If I go 7, you and if I go 7, then like from there, that's the baseline. Baseline. That was it. I'm answering your question only ngoku. Baseline that we just saw it all. But it's so, I think when you create something, you need to create something that you're gonna enjoy. Yeah. You know, I enjoyed like when I'm really pleased. I'm sure now you're a bit of a perfectionist. You know, like you've spent so much time on it, and now you want to look at it, you know, and be pleased with your work. You know, so just as a backtrack, it's like kwaphela inyanga ngenyanga simamelela backtrack, and ukangekho laa nto ye-USB okanye uyithumele ngoko ke. Like kufuneka siye studio light and find the sounds, you know what I'm saying? But we'd leave a lot of parties like say studio funa ulamamela na number, you know? Yeah. And once I remember the part usbu my lawyer esivulelela ngoma and like and uhleli so phakathi uzazibhika thina siyaziselela phaya zonke echo ukraine and then kuphakamisa inhloko uyalila athi and that I know that's a sign, you know. So by the time the fucking vocals, you know, it was basically just a cherry on top. And a YFM had gotten the new licenses by Ikasane, new regional stations got their licenses in Gauteng. It was YFM, which was a youth station.
DJ Sbu,
no, that's way before DJ Sbu.
Fresh.
fresh.
Khona umfana waswelekayo wayemde.
Nah, yeah, was not there. Kabzela.
Kabzela.
No, Kabzela was at Soweto Community Radio.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So Randall Abrams started it, Namanyamachita, because he was at Good Hope in Cape Town. So was I from Good Hope, was I not Thomas, Bad Boy T.
Okay.
Yeah, to Joburg. So they were the first guys. Thomas, Rude Boy Paul is now on 2000. Fresh was in that group. And we're all around the same age. So those guys go back to like our early 20s, Fat Joe, all of us were just like, dude, it was buzzing. So before they hit the air, like they had presenters, but by many frequency basically, because that's a license.
9.2 or something.
90.
99.2.
Yes, 99.2. Yeah, 99.2. So for a month or so, they just played music on that frequency, and then the presenters will start speaking on the 1st of October or something. So, out here in charge, the ANR PMG knew La Machita. Some of them exile guys. I want to like, man, come on, Machita, Makala something that Troy Villa. So by the track, it was that, and I think summertime, Bongo Muffin. So that platform really was, so everything was fresh. TKZ was fresh. New consciousness was fresh. I want that a South African young South African urban culture was taking off pride in our own stuff. Spanzula senzo yangithola yonke la way. So kanti the channel owner you busy the side. This I found out like 10 years ago, 2015. I'm working in Kenya with top artists from Nigeria and so on. And Lamachita, like even Sauti Soul from East Africa, Ice Prince from Nigeria, like, what you hear, dude, I'm doing what I'm doing because of TKZ. I'm like, what you mean? But when Galogi Channel O was like the first time we had music TV in Africa, and TKZ was like what Michael Jackson was to us, Tina, you know what I'm saying? So, Tina, we didn't even tour a lot out on the continent because we didn't know that Gandhi. I know, I mean, we were all over the world. To Australia, the US, London a few times, even Mandoza, yeah, but Divaya not just with TKZ. Bala Brothers traveled a lot too.
I'm not saying bona wena. Yeah. Uthela ngo flyer nge-80s nento no.
Yes.
But nami ndake na flyer ngo-88.
Of now I'm going to flag. Please put on your seatbelt. I'm going to do so.
Umntana kamakhulu i-first born yakhe yayise-exile, so yamka ngo-78, and that yaba-based eGerman, and that nge-80s ke ngoku yabuya yasebotswana.
All right,
so umakhulu ke ngoku akambonanga for 10 years.
Yes.
So wakuthumela imali ke ngoku ba makhulu mama izonibona.
Oh, that's nice.
So ke ngoku umakhulu ndahamba naye, and then wamka eshiye unyana ka-78.
Oh, wow.
So yasisoyi-3. Then yayinto enkulu kwasakhela uba ngabana ndiza flyer. Yayinto enkulu. Xela everyone naxona uthenga into. Sihamba nomakhulu saflyer.
So that's amazing.
So we flew to Joburg, from Joburg, Gaborone, from Gaborone driver to Mochudi, Samona Pa. Then wabuya ke early 90s ke.
Oh, that's amazing. And the old lady Belsaphile.
Yeah, no.
That's great because like Upra, you, I mean, you was in exile from 61.
For 30 years.
Listen, like Ungena, he lived in Botswana for a year or two. And like Lendu Teta Boma Kulwakwaz, like I mean Upra, you azango like was wayenge because like Zanga was attend Mama and they had never seen her, and it was like I'm clearly offside there, for a long time. So it's amazing that at least.
I'm a cool 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, so we back on now. Men Africa early 90s.
Ah, that's amazing. Oh, that's amazing.
So when udala uyibetha.
Yeah, I'm trying to, and I'm saying this because I think I'm over that. Yeah, Don't call about no, did be humble like
no.
Yeah, because with the thing and like, you know, I just turned 50 this year.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, jeez, you know, just looking back at my life, looking back at me, looking back at my life, like, yeah. It's hectic. It's phenomenal, you know. And I started traveling at the age of 11. And I mean, at 15, I'm in the Far East, in Thailand, I mean, in Taiwan, and seeing the world, you know, Europe, like younger and I'm thinking, not a lot of people have, not because about like this is not me, I didn't take myself there, it's just like what I happened to be exposed to. So much reference. You know what I'm saying? So much reference in terms of what what actually things are like and what is common and what is particular to South Africa. You know what I'm saying? When I'm close to Kule up, but it's like, no, chief, so upper car, not anywhere else. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, even to be in a country that's not Christian, like Ukule when we ask, no, yes, but like, no, but I am again. So that is only it only applies to you because ukhulele in a Christian state. You know what? I'm just saying, but like, so I was going to think a little about, geez, I mean, surely I've got a lot more to offer in terms of perspective, you know, than just holding back. You know, it's like, you know, people can gain a lot more because I share from that perspective, you know. So it's quite dynamic.
Yo, Momela, uyaqhuba uyangapha uthini. Kuwe ndiyafuna uyibuza manje into yoba yahamba itime usemncinci enikoku uqhuba. Bakhona abantu that you've seen as a father kuwe.
All the time.
Okay.
All the time. All the time. Yeah, all the time. And I mean, I'm attracted to growth.
Okay.
I'm attracted to izinto ezikhulisa. You know, like when someone's like, okay, like I see him, okay, that's nice. And I'll give you a scenario. Apparently I had an issue na nokubulisa. Okay. And, you know, I think also maybe saying thank you. Uyabo? So you, lo mntana akabulisi lo mntana. And like, and then it means it doesn't feel even more like, I hated like that's just like something is just off, you know, especially when there's a bit of like authority now. You wanna like and you wanna like this, you know. It's all or something wasn't say you wanna touch along. I say okay. So that's how the more I've learned myself, the cooler I realized I'm actually an activist. If I were to give it an expression,
okay.
I'm an activist against injustices on the vulnerable. Andithandi ipolice, andithandi abantu baphatheka kubi because wena udecide usebenzisa i-authority yakho whatever to uyabona ucindezela omnye umuntu, you know. So why I say that is like gogo like you know, like and bullies whatever, but when I started living with Abelung and I see how they approach this, guys, don't forget to say thank you to Mr. Smith. And Putluando was there. He told us that so it's not like so okay, sorry, like it's an order, it's not a gesture. So the seven salo example, because I started seeing all these beautiful things, how beautiful they are when they just are those things. Without bullies. So guys are not because they don't ready say sugile. You know what I'm saying? There are things that are just genuine and are beautiful as they are. And I was able to see that Kumbula Lokutina, especially also Drakensberg, would live with families like, you know, those short holidays, September or March, you know, in Durban, go and stay with maybe those friends, Kaputluando, you know what I'm saying, and get to live with them. And these people, because of our talent, they've taken us in, you know, and they do their bit and send us back, and then Omnia takes over. You know what I'm saying? I was brought up by people. Maybe that's why I have time for people. You know what I'm saying? And I know what a difference it can make because I saw it up.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? So we want to create great people by being great. You know, not because ndichilo. You know, so when it comes to fatherhood, you know, even like I timer kakamel mama kashon. You know, I became a father to me, and I was just watching some of the way he is, and so I was learning fatherhood from all these different people. But I know because and yes, I've never experienced, but the best shot I have was yeah.
Andikwazi uyiphosa into yoba ngabana mninzi umuntu onephupha lokucula okanye abe kwi-music industry, because not wonke umuntu uzawucula, omnye angenza enye into athini phayana. But i-majority ye-parents are concerned into yoba ngabana lo mntana xa phaa angabuya angene kwi-drugs, angangena abuse ubutywala athini. So ininzi nento edityaniswa nento ezi-negative ne-music industry. Uphephe njani wena all these years for uba kungabuyi kuthiwe overdosile ngee-drugs, uthatha ii-drugs ubhalwe ngathini?
Yeah,
How did you miss loo nto leyo uba ngabana sazi loo nto thina apha eBhayi uba buye eRhawutini uzawubuya uphalele and then phaa uzawuintrodyuswa, there's these people who abahamba ecam kwe-artist. Do you want to share around loo nto?
I think I'm glad ubuza lo mbuzo ngoku sesithethe kakhulu nge-background yam.
Alright.
Because I've always had abantu abadala watching me.
Okay.
You know, there are some things I wouldn't do because they come and
Yeah.
you know, and sometimes you want to go Instagram, kukhutshwa izinto abantwana abanamalume otanci. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's beautiful about this scene too, you know. But another fundamental point to Lengiteta, it's important to understand abantu bathethe izinto in the music industry. It's verified because that's what they're seeing. Right?
Yeah. That's what exposed to Clone.
Yeah, I mean, that is what they know. But they may not know the industry itself, but I also don't think other bantu bafuna the industry now bayayazi the industry. First of all, the yintoni industry. You know? And because ndiyakwazi ucula, why kufuneka ndibese industry and think in the terms of the idea industry banayo yephi na. Uyabona? Say for instance, uyacula worship leader, big church,
sure,
whatever, and there's a big church, and then like Mr Zwai use whatever long guns when you are hlabela kuyo. It's beautiful, you know. Yeah, so one signer, you know. Sign and don't. You know, number one, you know, sign and don't. And so they don't even know what the signing thing is, you know. And the kwakucula before you go music industry, kwakucula before you record to a music. And also because you sing doesn't mean you must have an album, you know. But now here you are, there was at least 7,000 people in that hall. Okay, and bayakwazi bonke ngumculo walapha. Zikhona ibranches zalecawa all over the rest of the country, and uyaziwa like izembula abadibana eThabanchu. It's a massive community, and everyone knows you there. If you have to do an album, ibhatalelwe icawa because you are their singer.
Wow.
Ne musicians alapha ni record. You don't need a record because the record company, all they do is that they pay for the recording. And once it starts selling, they first take their money, and then when you have money.
Yes.
But now, baza spending money where you don't own any of it, and then still kusekone markups, retailers, nendoni. Yes. And awaziwa uyafika pha iphi album kabana awaziwa. So uzobekwa efront. Uyabo? Kufuneka wenze ezinye izinto whatever kuyazi ukanye uphume TV and then like abantu bazawubuza ngawo and then ke kubathi good demand lonto le. But each store maybe orders telling us stores ngoko, okay, like physical stores. They order like 2 copies of your CD. You know what I'm saying? Don't know, but here is a market that you have at church. Thousands and thousands. And you don't have to go through any middleman. Landa uthengisa izancwadi zabantu bashumayeli nendoni or pay back kwizikons whatever. The album is there. If the church supported it, then a bit of it yumnikelo wakho ke lo enkozweni. So we don't study markets.
Wow.
We don't know what a market is. Funeka ibe into yenzwa pha ibe se TV nithini, then you take it seriously. Something that happens, dude, you have it right in front of you. So we've never been taught to make sense of value, chap. Not money, value. You know what I'm saying? The value that you have here is not on your cameras that you have, it's also the relationships that you have, isn't that so? That is the most valuable asset yakho right now. Yes. So we don't even know. Instead, once ufane lo mali sinikwe ngomnye umuntu okanye lo job sinikwe ngomnye umuntu or lo moto sinikwe ngomnye sifuna uyithatha sinyise kwaba bantu bethu ngayo ayinjani mfethu you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't think but I'd rather have your back if anything comes home. So for me to have that, at least I must make sure one day I solidify a relationship. You know what I mean? So ndichoklondo uchongwe ngabantu and you take people seriously. You know what I'm saying? You take yourself seriously. That's a first step. You know what I mean? And keep your eyes open. It's important bawukhule. It's important bawuzazi izinto that are happening around you. But at least say no to drugs, yes, but maybe say no to drugs, no spelled KNOW. Like at least know what's going on but also be clearer about what it is that you want. Yeah, but okay, sharply way grand. But is it in line nalento mna ndifunayo? At least then to bring you back to focus on what you want, not what you don't want. Hayi, so focus ekungaselini, ekungathathanga drugs, ekungathinini. Hayi andizo still usathetha ngalando. You know what I'm saying? Rather focus on something that you want to do, and then you'll just see that all the time.
Yes, xana wesibana ngibone enye ivideo esithi umuntu abantu bangabantu ba into ezana ze ice.
Yes, ice skating.
Yes. No, lena yohla ku snow.
Okay.
Ice skiing.
Yeah.
So uthi the minute uthi ndingagili ndizabona zona. So funeka mention something lento ithethayo. You mention what you want.
Yeah.
I want to see the path. I want to see indlela. Then that's what you will see.
Right?
Yeah, that's what you see. But the minute uthi ndingangena emthini, that's all you will see.
Right?
Yeah.
That's all you'll see. You'll even bring it.
Yeah, that's all you see.
But
bangamana uthi umuntu ipindlela. So ubona indlela yodwa lo muntu
so
ngagili.
You're clear about yourself. And really I think that's the basic principle. You'll notice whenever abantu naxa bethetha ngoku abathethi okanye even reasons zokwenza into abayenzayo abantu lobuza kutheni uzile apha okanye kutheni athi umuntu hayi beningafuni but hayi because andifuni is like even ifunayo and we keep satisfying this thing that is external and ayikho lando. It's something that you created. Gubano takes out and maybe that's somewhere to begin. And I think if we're interested in growing, and be excited and just grow, today's ways and kumbula mna dikala like one day a producer and said, imagine one day you want to produce like no Bob Mapena. You can't see it, you need that like just pattern, like nabanya bantu, so I think just focus on the growth and these things come and they come, they happen, you're growing,
Jonga, sikubonile, wabetha nge-TKZ, saphinde sakubona, yayibhala brothers. Umculo, ngoku apha eMzantsi naselizweni, yekasi kumoshile sathi introduce, but ungaya naphi na ngoku, ungaya naphi na uzibonise. Ndiyafuna siye kwinto yoba ngabana in terms of family, ndiyakuvile uthetha ngabantwana, do you want to touch just nje kulonto le into bangabana ungumzali ngoku njengoba ungumzali bosoyisherishile into bangabana bufunda from nasebantwini, ndikuvile uba yinto enjoyayo uba ngutata. Uyabathanda abantwana bakho. Do you want to just touch nje apha uba iyenze i-change ebomini bakho okanye ikhuphe into ebekudala ikhona kuwe? You know, how was that?
Yeah, look,
Fatherhood.
I think I've always been about empowering and impacting. Like I said, dude, I started seeing things from a young age. So, or, you know, to explain, like, I've always wanted to bring back, you know, whatever I've experienced. So whatever I learn, I teach it, you know. But the difference, though, so I've invested a lot in other people as well. It also comes maybe from land, you know, but I know that it's part of me. It's my heart. So, but now, abantwana bakho, that's your best shot. I don't know if you have an experience, abantu that you invested in, bakuphoxe bathini. You know what I'm saying? And they one day I wasted my, you know, I hear abantu bekhala every day. You know, I've done this and this for even a spouse is. But your children, that's your best shot at having the most positive influence of women warmed, because you make decisions for that child, especially in primary stages of their lives. The kind of people that they'll turn out to be as people now is based on who they hang out with, is based on what they consume information-wise and who they listen to. You are at the center of that because ichomi zabo will determine their future. Ichomi zabo izabanga bantwana bechomi zakho.
Okay. Yeah.
So the friends that you even choose. You know what I'm saying? So now it doesn't matter who I'm hanging with, but I'm talking about my family. I'm talking about my children because that's who I like talking about. So to be good, but you know, standing alone. No man comes for like now when I was, you know, still in Joburg, you know, nabandwana pa. If you funu nam weekend, do you have children? No, rather we'll meet because I will be with my children. I'm not going to say, no, kids, I'm not going to be with you because it's a meeting. You have to fall into my plan.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and if you care about me, you want to go into a partnership about me, you're supposed to be, you know, you're supposed to know about what it is that I care about, you know, because that's what we're going to be doing ultimately, not just get like tender. So invest in relationships. And I think, yeah, children, man, it's your best shot. And I think... So I'm not applying any theory on anything. At least not a theory on or ingolo or fundwestile or some method, because I question everything. I don't doubt everything. I question everything. So I'll do something because I'm convinced, like I know what I'm doing, and like actually this is so cool. I want to try it out. I'm not doing it because kuchobani. You know what I'm saying? So there's a way of, I've found that I've created my own way of just getting my children to understand stuff, not do things because guchiyo. Because raising a girl in this day and age, what is it that I just need to focus on? Let me focus on just confidence. That will determine zonke ezinye izinto. Abantwana must know, but there is no such thing as a stupid question. They can ask any question. I'll call stupid. I don't know, no umbuzo, and umbuzo should have an answer. So, there's nothing wrong with that answer. If pendula, then, you know, they should be able to answer you. You know, there's nothing. So, let me just focus on, you can ask any question and as much time until you understand. Because you should have understood it. Okay. You know, so that is the basis of maybe, you know, impendo yam kuwe. So children, you know, bantwana basekhaya, cousins, zabantwana bam. I remember nam being a cousin or whatever, malume simjonga. Now unomalume wena ohlala eGauteng oculayo and umane fika, surely into unza ngayo leyana kuchomi zakho, it's all born about you umalume wakho ngubani uyangithola. So there's a connection and there can be an impact that you can make to that child. Young child. So to take the time, to see them. I know, it meant so much. So we are surrounded by opportunities all the time, Joe, to impact the world,
Yeah. Now, mna took a lot apa. So which means uninzi labantu bengekho close kuwe now bayothuka ngoku. It's things that become bayazazi. Sa exposed ke apha things this is nezitu to family reality.
Yes.
Akudala ndifuna ubuza. Abantu pha bathi kukho iscript pha. No scripta lento lena. Ithini abanye bathi sana man uzwa ibhuli sana. Uzwa ibhuli. Kha kusele true pha kwenzeka ntoni ithini into. One, is it scripted?
No.
Is that a lie? Okanye sibona injalo manyanya what we see?
No, I
and
don't.
Then and why uyibhuli but
I don't do script. I don't
Okay.
do. Ndisanda kutsho ngoku kuwe, but I don't follow script. Nasekhuliseni abantwana, I don't follow script. I follow truth.
okay.
I don't know, but ndiyibhuli.
Utsanda uthi ke wona uyifuna ibhuli.
Yes.
Awuyifuna uyibona ibhuli.
Andifuna uyibona
But ngoku thini country ithi uzwa ibhuli uzwa man.
Yeah, and I think abantu abatsho xa ndibuza about why andikafumani these questions andikafumani answer straight like what you mean ndiyibhuli. And also it's they're not talking about me, they're talking about how they process me.
Okay.
Yeah, so mna andibhizi andikho busy ndibhulisha mna. I'm just doing me bona they because na umuntu ngamnye angandexplain amna ndiyamthanda uzwa so yeyiphe right. Yeah. So it's just no, it's not scripted. It's real. Kaloku the reactions are based on what abantu are connecting this to themselves. Nezinto zabo.
All right.
It's how it makes them feel uncomfortable or somewhat because connection, whether it triggers something kubo, so it's in relation to everyone. Like it's relative. But I know, like I said, in blunt terms, so I'm not in a popularity contest. As the Pikisani as competing with Tando. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things our people, in fact, silimele mancho man. Silimele. So I know a lot of these new concepts. I know basi foreign kubantu bethu, especially the way I think. I know basi foreign, and I know it's going to be a lot of change. So I was comfortable. I know that, and I've made peace with that. And I don't expect when I communicate something going on, I don't expect a reaction because I know, but at least I would have said it. But in Donga kwazi uyihlafuna and grow from it, in time. I don't even have to be there by the time you wake up, to it. So yeah, I'm trying to, man. It's nothing much. Just mnaga.
No, we enjoyed ishow kakhulu. One thing ebendithanda ngakhona benibona ubureal. Benibona i-families bangabana i-majority of-families we go into similar to Glory.
Yo.
So kumnandi ke ngabanye mhlawumbe banamandla ukuthetha kwezabo families.
Yeah.
So but apha ngoku siyabona sine chance obane opinion. Yabo?
As long as we're talking, as long as we are talking.
Yes.
As long as I mean, with the show, the main thing, a Phumegla show, people find a lot of relatability.
Yeah.
They can relate, they can connect it to their own families and their own stories, and I want to come to me whenever.
Yeah.
Sure. Kezabo ke stories. That hey, but ndibukela show yenu. Hey, yabona eyami family fundini so nakele as a people.
Yes.
And through this show, yes, unfortunate or whatever, like every other family, but I think it's doing a lot more good than bad when we remove it from personalizing it. I mean, so Nagel and the family in South Africa has been neglected. It's been neglected. We see you now sharing your stories. That's your story. There's a lot of principles there for Anna Chep, And the more we talk about similar issues, even the addicts, that's how they get over things. Addicts now was anything that's happening behind closed doors, is on Nagala because I can't get better more, And and we hurt each other a lot. I mean, from that, we started Bala Family Foundation.
Okay.
And the main focus is on family as Bala Family Foundation. Having seen just imeko skuyo, like I keep saying, zonke drivers nazo, corruption or abantu aba corrupt, criminals, rapists, whatever, mapara, bonke baphuma ezifamily. So when I say to you, you've got eyona chance yakho kusebantwaneni bakho. So we can create that impact already from those foundational stages. Then at least we can impact more directly. You know what I'm saying? ECD and all that stuff to prevent violence emakhayeni later on is the kind of person you build, not what you teach them. Utla umntu ezinothi yefoni uvovo noyabefota yofona uvovo vona ndiyazithuke abantu phayana but umuntu okwaziyo uzothi ayifani novovo loo nto leyo akazothi utheni hambaya xa like it's so it's when you focus on building people, at least we're building people abazoba nee-principles and principle nobazongekho une-principle yakhe. No, this goes against what I'm about. And hence decided, to follow, to focus because our foundations. We have a lot of, inundated cases reported and not, but siyayaz baninzi abantwana abakhula ngaphandle kodata. For instance, I'm not saying it's the only thing. For instance, and in many cases, yenziwa ngamasibom loo nto leyo kanje abantwana bangazana notata babo, whether it's based on the couple's issues or imali nendoni, you know what I'm saying? But ezazinto, they have repercussions. They create a society that is like this. If we don't create, to create role models, you know what I'm saying? But you want them to be exposed to men of stature, who you want your child to be like, Yeah.
Yazi kwinto endiphansi uyilibala sidlule kudala kule part but andifuna ungayithethi. Uyayazi bangabana ngo-2000 senisuka kwi-launch yenu somewhere eJoburg. Into yenzekayo ndihlala noDobs. Ndihlala noDobs eJoburg. Sihlale eYoville, Beria. So si-close no way ndiyofohloza. So one night siyafika phayana but hey kukho i-launch. Pakubo. So mna noDobs besihlala eYoville. Saphen sahlala eBeria. So zikufuphi mos.
Yes.
So onanto fohloza bona baseYoville. Uyabo? So one night ke xa sipha bathi man siyahamba. Siya, I'm not sure whether it's Randbeck or P, but apho yayikhona i-launch yayi-TKZ family.
Wow.
It was not just TKZ.
Yes.
It was a launch TKZ family. Yeah. So saya ke that night apho ndihamba nofohloza ke apho, it was just few months before ndiyeminyakeni.
Yeah. That's idea ufohloza wayathanda amaginza. Oh, shame, okay.
Yeah, so that time then pa. Wow. Yeah, so at that time, what I remember, was Volvo.
Yeah.
I think C70 or
yes, the drop top or the coupe.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it was that time.
Okay, yes.
So sikunye pa no Dobs no for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, but for him nakwela micala, yo, inzima man life ngala xesha. Then between noba ndiyazi ba ndizawuhamba for a long time. And it was also a pleasure where ndangenzi izinto ezi-right for uba ubomi bam uzaba right. So it was just few months before ndimke for iminyaka. Nam sendibona into yoba anything ingenzeka kum ndiphilela for a day. Akho nto yoba ngenye imini ntoni siyaphila for konwaba namhlanje. Uba kuthiwa kukho into endaweni ethile siyaya. Uba kuthiwa kukho into ethando sisethando. So that was 25 years ago.
25 years.
Yeah, 25 years ago. Sean wayengabikho ne?
Ubani?
Sean
no, even uLisa wayengabikho.
Yeah, that was 2000.
2000?
Yeah, it was 2000, early 2000. Because nobody abuya phayana ngo-April from Joburg ngela xesha ndenza ndiphinde ndihambe. then ndalapha eBhayi, and then ndagwetywa.
Then what?
I can talk. Njengoba business tours zakho nami business tours zami. Lungiso ukuhlala. Lungiso ukuhlala sesi-right nje ngoku, you know. Yeah, but ndagqiba ngoko, you know, elaxesha laseJoburg at that time. Ndixelela nabani na othi kumfuna eJoburg. Ndithi eJoburg awuyopha ungayazi ubuzothini.
No.
Ayenziwa loo nto eJoburg. Joburg masiba kliba uya ngesikolo. Uya ngempangelo uya ngento ethile.
Yeah, so you see, abantu bayaphanga le hope bayingathi izawuze le nto bacimba izawuza phakathi. It's like okay, hamba ngikuthi like.
So mna ngela xesha it was hard.
Yeah.
It was hard ngela xesha.
It's still hard.
And
it's still hard.
Ndacinga ngoku kumnandi kum ngoku. Ngoku ndinayo imali ngoku. I can fly myself to Joburg and ngoku ndiya decide to go endlini yomntu okanye ndiyaziyele hotel.
Yes.
And umuntu enzayo kuye ngumuntu enclose naye ondifunayo endlini.
Yes.
Andimsokolisi.
Yes.
Yabo?
Yes.
Nondiphikisa into ba hayi sikafana uze hotel ezapha. Khamye sokwazi uncokola.
Yes.
So it's so nice for me to go to Joburg ngoku. Bangabana
naphina.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know? So ilapho ngoku. So for me experience yam ngokyana that time 25 years ago nangoku hayi now mayibekliba uthini umuntu.
Yeah.
Mayibekliba uthini.
Yeah, absolutely.
All these years ke ayiphepheki ke incoko kwizibotho. Hayi thikezi Fustana kaloku umzwayi mna. Fustana uzwayi na.
Hapo uzothi now unayinto kodwa ungayikhufa.
I-launch uthetha ngayo for 7 years.
Yeah.
Sasukulaunch kaloku.
Yeah.
But you know, I was there.
You know, I was saying this to I was saying, okay, imagine this scenario, ne? Girlfriend, you figure chomini yake. Hi Choms. Hello my Choms. Hi Choma. Like, yeah, I just met your dad. And like, did he tell you about the day he met Zwai Bala? Like, yes, he did. He tells everybody that. And what I'm coming to is like, and Toluguti, you gave that guy 2 minutes of your time. Galo minunga, you don't even have to remember. You know, so as I say, but everything is an opportunity to impact. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't know about it's a story, about the story salam to no ba uye chele to yo. You know?
Tathangas. Ke ngonozwayi ke ngophaka ixesha seBeria kwakukhwenye student ndondoni wayiqhaphakile ke pha uzwayi. Uzwayi qhaphakile ke khangela igenge pha.
Student village.
What is that hot?
Yeah. No, I'm happy to hear that. That means I know. Da ubupari babusephelile then. Basidibana phana speedy.
Amazita I think ukoko vaphi.
Yes.
So koko vaphi.
Yeah, ukoko wasandufike.
Yes. So I remember him and then ngibizana nyigrotman ke ngoku. Nyigrotman.
Yeah.
Yeah, pie Ford ka.
Yeah.
So yona then bekhona and then mna Jim not Dobbs ke ngoku.
Oh wow.
So it not.
That was before Dobbs was sebenza mna.
Yes, mna senibhandinda ngoku.
Yeah, ne. Wakumela she. Wakumela she with Dobbs.
So no man, enkosi kakhulu man for sharing ezi zinto. Andifuni sizigqibe because you will write a book. Abantu funa nje ubanika this and ndi convinced ba inspired abaqala yokuva and probably bayaqala ukufumana o relaxed ngohlobo where you are not talking about anything engenye but about yourself. And apha ndiveka mandi. Even now, I'm shocked nabo. There's so much ebendicima ndayazi but ndiyothuke ngenye indlela.
Okay.
You know, enkosi kakhulu and it will be great man ba this Nansika podcast sibona for iminyaka and siyafuna ezixesha lihamba uphinde ubuye for something I don't know what ngoku. Size sayibona bayithini but sendiyazi already ba izabe idibasa nomculo because ndiyakubona uyawuthanda umculo, uyawuphila umculo, you love teaching. Somewhere somehow iBala family will be busy training abantu, podcast will be somewhere up. I'd love to see big brands from overseas, global what where nithi masihambeni no train abantu eKenya. No train abantu because I don't want us to think just nge iweske wena ke ngithela nomuntu kwange 80s ingqondo yakhe biseyijonge ilizwe ingajonganga idinarha, you know. So those are the things I'd love. Yes. And I I see them happening. You know, sinez cameras zingaka siyakwazi uzikhwelisa siyakwazi uflya.
Absolutely.
And that wena you good language yazi into onitshintshe ngayo namhlanje ile part yendobani manje nisithi umuntu talented
Umuntu
onetalent. So for me benithatha light wena undenze la ijonga ndoba wonke umuntu unayo talent.
And of course ngoku talent kuphela ba music.
Yeah.
Like une talent because it's music kanje. Like talent is not just the art, so you know what I mean? Yeah.
So no, thank you so much, man. For ixesha lakho.
Ngos mfondini, man. Well, I mean, kusekhaya ngokaba mfondini. I've been dying for all these years dingekho, you know, ngenbuye. You know what? It's Dan kalubande no more na klamde no ndabuyele phindi no more na. You know, because this is where it's at, and if beganga angabi khomntu uhambayo apha. You know, ayofuna izinto kwezinye indawo zikhona zilapha. And people like yourself, myself, and others, we're showing that. But funa abantu bayibone into for them to see it as possible. So we need, you know, role models, not just abantu. Not many people are doing the right things, but we'll do it. Yeah, preferably, you know, lenda awezawukhula if ikhuliswa city. You know, not wait for his and those all government and it's like no, we must create it, and we're gonna get it right. We're close.
Okay. Nangu umuntu kulo ndawo ndonqimisa mhlawumbe kwa Coke, kwa Twiza, kwa Banban, anywhere they want to assist and do something with Bala Brothers Foundation. Bathatha njani bathini khona iwebsite khona iWhatsApp where they can, but we want to be part of this. We want to assist Songeze noba bongeza njani as a foundation baze bona beyilo brand mhlambe chance ngoku.
Yeah, sure. Inantsika email bazayifumana phezantsi ibhaliwe mosgokne
ikhona
iyo
le ibhaliwe
ibhaliwe phezantsi bazayifumana and all the information.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Otherwise it's I mean simple to get hold of us for the time being, you know, just on the socials. You know, no Pinky Bala, who's our CEO, and she's running the office. So Landusa you know, of that empire and that big structure we're talking about. So we've started implementing it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. No. So and Pinky Bala is leading that. So.
Oh wow.
So
udabs wekhanda akabhulisi yena phaka bona izinto obhulisayo bayamthanda
bazothetha ezonto xa ufona.
No, thank you so much.
Thank you Bobo mfondini, inkosi kakhulu.
Yes, anyone obukele, please don't forget to subscribe and like YouTube channel yethu Phikelela Podcast onqindilile. Unqindilile ke usuka from the time I am.
Okay.
Ethanda into enqindilile. Yeah, enqindilile. So isukela apho nalonto. Thank you so much.
Okay, wonderful.